You've identified what you need, though, haven't you?
No, I don't think it's not just about what I need. I think it's just everything that surrounds the football club. It's not just players. It's what we want to do in certain areas and everything else. And it's just trying to take the club on again and take it on again. And the fact that we're still in the Premier League, we're absolutely delighted. And what was a vital year to stay up. Has given us that little bit more grace now to maybe push on a bit.
And that surely was that your only remit this year? Keep us up.
I think it's everybody's remit. I think if you speak to most managers outside the top 6 or 7, the important thing is first and foremost to stay in the Premiership, and then the further up you finish, obviously, is a bonus. If you get to the cup finals, that's a bonus again. But to stay in the Premiership is enormous. Well, I don't have to say that. You just have a look at the 3 clubs who have been relegated.
Are you happy with the way you've done it this season?
Yeah, I'm absolutely delighted the way we've done it this season, because we're still in the Premiership, and I think that anybody who dispels that has not been an achievement. At clubs like West Bromwich Albion, they're in Cloud Cuckoo land, and I really mean that, because you look at Newcastle, you look at Aston Villa, and you look at the traditions those 2 clubs, Norwich, and even in that respect, you can't take anything for granted at this level. And like I say, if it's been an unusual year from top to bottom, and to get through it with quite a few games to spare. When you look back, the victory against Manchester United, really, that was the one that took us to 39 points. 39 points takes you up, keeps you up. So we did it quite a while ago.
So if anybody disagrees with your playing style or whatever, do you just say, look at the bottom 3?
I'll be disappointed with the playing style. We haven't scored as many goals as what we'd like to, but I think there are reasons why that's happened. Maybe missing 4 penalties out of 5. If you have a look at the tally that we'd have had if we'd have scored those goals even, we'd be a lot further up the table. But I think the lads have played some good stuff at times this year. We've been very competitive. Our own form hasn't been as good as you'd want it to be, but we've competed and we've done well away and done really well. And again at Bournemouth on Saturday, it was another game where you come away disappointed you haven't got the 3 points.
Given what you've said, that most people's remit in the Premier League is to stay up, are you surprised by Roberto Martinez and Kiki Flores?
I think Roberto's in a different position. I think Roberto's in a position at a football club where they expect. They've most probably had the strongest squad that they've had for a long time, and Roberto will be the first one, I think, to say how disappointed he would have been that they'd never got the results most probably that he would have been looking for at this stage after 3 years in charge. Flores, I think he's done a wonderful job at Watford, and I read something the other day where they said he ticked all the boxes, everything they'd asked him to do he'd actually done. So that is disappointing. But Roberto's at a club that their expectations and the money that they spend and everything that goes with it is massive.
People question your future here and would have you believe that there's not a great relationship between you and the chairman. What do you say to that? And where do you want to be?
No, I get on very well with the chairman. I think the chairman's been very straight, very honest. As I've said before, it's not always what you want to hear, but he's straight down the middle with it. And I prefer to deal with people like that.
So where are you at then? I mean, you said last week...
Dinner next week. I've said last week, as soon as the season's over, we'll sit down and we'll go through it, and that's what we'll do.
But what do you want to do? Do you want to be here longer than a year?
Yeah, well, it's the chairman will decide that. That won't be just me. That'll be Jeremy, sitting down with Jeremy and having a chat with Jeremy. It's an honour to manage this football club. It's a great football club. There's lots of things that I'd like to improve over a period of time, lots of things that we want to improve. Scoring more goals next year will be a help. But there's stuff around the place. I think if you have a look at Lico, what John has done over the past 3 games, it's reiterated really what my beliefs are, and that the kids have got to be pushed and given an opportunity and a chance to show what they can do. I think the academy it's a real good academy here, and there's some really, really good players that need to be pushed and pushed a little bit harder than what they've done in the past. Mark and Steve Opcroft and the people who work in the academy, they've worked tirelessly to get players in, and we've got to give them the opportunity and the chance to play.
There's things you want to do. If you're not allowed to do those things, Tony, does it give you a decision to make?
No, there's stuff that I wanted to do this year that it's not been right for the football club to do. It's not been right at the right time, and that's management. But you can't go in and just throw everything at everybody and say, I need this now, and I need to do this now, and I need to do that now. It takes time, and as I say, in football you don't get the time that you want. That's the way it is. You've got to be winning games. You've got to make sure you retain Premier League status, and that gives you hopefully the opportunity to improve it and move it on. And we're definitely I think in a stronger position as a football club now than what we were 18 months ago.
I believe you're making a statement to Liverpool fans, a tribute on Sunday. Tell us about that.
Turn up and you'll find out. I think it's wrong for me to say it now. Let's wait until we kick off at 4 o'clock or just before 4 o'clock, and then we'll see what they do, what the club does. And it's wonderful, absolutely fantastic. But come and have a look, Pete. Very welcome.
Is that an invitation?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, a West Brom manager to a Villa supporter.
Okay, I'll take that. Who's taking the penalties this week?
If you bring your boots, yeah. I'm a great believer. People talk about this, that, and everything else. Sido practices penalties nearly every day. Missed 2 continuously or consecutively. Gads will do the same. Rondon will do the same. Morrison's done the same. It's different pressure when you go out there and on a Saturday. And sometimes players are playing well. They can't get the ball or pick the ball up quick enough to take it. Sometimes players are not playing so well, and they've got a little bit of doubt in their minds whether they should take it or not. I'm always one of them. If you've got 2 or 3 on the pitch, whoever's most confident to take it, then let them take it. And that's always been my way.
Just a couple of left field ones because I know you like these. Who's your tip for the Euros? Who do you think is going to shine?
Well, I think England will do well, and I'm just hoping and praying Wales qualify. And then, England, hopefully will get through to the semi-finals. And then that if they do that, and if they've got as good a chance as the other 3 teams in the semi-finals, they've got a good group. I think it's them and Wales, hopefully, to go through, and then fingers crossed, that they can go, like I say, through to the semi-finals, and it's toss of a coin.
Just finally from me, there are some experimental things happening with changes in rules to football.
Which ones, Pete?
Well, there is the one where you don't have to knock the ball back from kickoffs. There's also the last gasp tackle. Rather than getting sent off, you get a yellow card, maybe a penalty now. But what changes would you like to see? And don't get yourself into trouble.
Yeah, I think simulation. I think if people are found to have dived or fallen over and it's not correct, they should be banned for 3 games. No messing around. Fined 2 weeks' wages, banned for 3 games. So that stops that straight away. I'd also, arguing I'm the world's worst on the line at times. I think arguing with referees, being really, really, up front with referees and being confrontational. I think that there could be a time where the player can be booked, but you can move the ball 10 yards further towards the goal. I think that would stop that as well. So I think those 2, if you could bring those 2 in, I'd be delighted. Playing the ball straight back from a kick-off is not going to change the course of the tide. Not for me.